Hariom, Om Gurubhyo namaha. Mankutimmana Kagga is one of the greatest literary works in Kannada, written by Sri Gundappaya, also known as DVG. This is regarded by many as Kannada Bhagavad Gita. At the very beginning of the Kagga, DVG presents us with a beautiful garland of questions. From the fourth Kagga up to the 53rd Kagga are all mostly questions only. Before looking into these questions themselves, let us first see a brief introduction and background for these questions. We may ask, why were so many questions needed? Couldn't DVG have mentioned only few questions and then started to give out the answers? After all, people are interested only in the answers, isn't it? No, these questions are very much needed because currently the thinking capacity of our mind is very limited. Our mind is filled with only our daily events and problems. Hence, our mind is unable to think of anything higher. Without asking the right questions, we cannot hope to get the right answers. In these Kaggas, DVG asks us some very interesting questions on where are we going wrong in our life and makes us think on what is needed for right living. DVG also covers a vast range of interesting topics on both worldly as well as spiritual matters. He also covers the three main topics in spirituality, where most of the questions and later answers revolve: Jiva or individual, Jagat or world, and Ishvara or God. He uses these questions to widen our thinking canvas, on which he himself paints a beautiful picture in the shape of answers in the remaining 900 odd Kaggas. DVG has learnt the Prasthana Trayi, that is Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutras, directly from a Guru. He has also experienced several struggles and ups and downs in his life. Using this vast knowledge and life experiences, he churns out these wonderful questions and presents them in front of us. We may ask, did our ancient rishis and their students also teach and learn in this way? Yes, indeed. Our great Sanatana Dharma ignited interest in the students' minds and encouraged them to ask questions. The rishis or teachers then made an honest attempt to answer them as best as they could. DVG also follows our Upanishadic tradition, where he himself asks these questions like a sincere and dedicated student, and later he himself gives the answers to them like a self-realized master. We may ask, who among us gets such kind of questions? Yes, that is indeed a very good question to ask. One thing we have to understand is that not everyone will get such kind of questions in their mind. Only people who have already evolved to some extent and have developed sattvic tendencies get such questions. These are serious questions about life and are not to be taken lightly. They make us introspect within and then look for the answers. We may ask, is it possible for us to think properly and give the right answers to these questions ourselves? No, since many of these questions are beyond our intellect to reason them out, we have no other option but to surrender to God, to our gurus, as well as to our scriptures, meaning our Shruti, Smruti, and Puranas, for their answers hidden within. Only the right questions will lead one to the right answers. Also, to ask the right questions itself needs some level of maturity in the student, which is aptly demonstrated here by DVG himself. In all Kaggas in general, the first two lines give a material or a worldly standpoint. This is so that we can easily relate to the Kagga, connecting it with our own life's experiences. Whereas with the third and especially the fourth lines, DVG delivers a punch and also manages to lift us up to the spiritual realm and makes us think beyond our limited intellect. We may ask, is there any grouping or division of Kaggas according to their topics? Yes, Sri G.P. Rajaratnam divided the Kaggas into several sections or topics. We have already discussed the first topic, Bhagavantana Prarthane or prayer to God, in the videos of the first three Kaggas. The next section is called Yenu Jivanadartha or what is the meaning of life. In this topic, questions regarding the purpose of life are asked by DVG. We may ask if you can give a few examples here. Yes, questions like what is the meaning of life, meaning of this world, and the relationship between the two are discussed. Who is God? If there is an almighty protector, then why is the state of the world like this? More questions like who will unravel the mystery of this creation to us? Why are there so many life forms? Is there any purpose or order for this creation? Such kind of soul searching questions are placed in front of us by DVG in this section. The second topic discussed is Manavaro Dhanavaro or men or demons. Here mostly the topic of Jiva or individual, especially human beings, is covered. For example, questions such as what is this terrifying dance of this universe? What is the riddle of this creation? What is this awesome force of destruction? With possible reference to the world wars fought at that time. Where is the end to all this? Later, more serious questions like are we men or demons to treat our Mother Earth in this way? Why are we making our Mother Earth soak in blood? Why are there so many tyrants in this world? Finally, he covers questions about what is the ultimate goal of human freedom. Such kind of introspective questions are placed in front of us by DVG in this section. The next topic taken up is Loka Jiva Mathana or churning of world and life. Here DVG mainly discusses the relationship between human beings and about their sufferings. For example, why did enmity develop among people who live on the same earth, drink the same water, and eat the same rice? Old faiths are destroyed and new ones are yet to come. Where is the end to this suffering? And is there a God who can relieve this suffering? Questions with beautiful comparisons of life to a flowing river are then taken up. These kind of thoughtful questions are placed in front of us by Sri Gundappaya in this section. We may ask how many topics and Kaggas have we covered so far? We have covered 3 topics and around 14 Kaggas now, containing several questions in brief. The next topic taken up is Idenu Onaragale or what are these dry struggles? Here DVG mainly discusses the unnecessary and dry struggles of human life and makes us think of the benefits of right living. We may ask if you can give a few examples here. Yes, DVG uses an interesting technique here. The right way of living is shown at first by demonstrating the wrong ways of living. And he then leaves us to think for ourselves what is right and wrong. For example, questions like What can one achieve by folding our hands and praying to every god that we see? Doesn't all one need is some food to eat and clothes to wear to lead a contented life? What we consider as gold is treated like dirt by fate, and vice versa. Where is the truth in this world, and has God gone into hiding? Be alert in this journey of life, O traveler, is a message given to us. The types of lives led by tamasic and rajasic people are discussed, and questions are asked whether this is the right way of living. These kind of cautionary questions are placed in front of us by Sri Gundappa in this section. The next topic taken up is Balige Nakase, or life's design or chart. In this topic, he discusses about trying to have a blueprint for our life instead of wandering about aimlessly. He explores the truth behind this creation and compares the opposites, the good and the bad elements in this world. He then explores questions like what have humans achieved in this world when compared to birds and animals? The latter also work to fill their stomachs, isn't it? Questions on the purpose of creation is again discussed here, where in one moment this creation looks to be filled with compassion and beauty, and at the next moment it appears to be filled with greed and cruelty. These kind of serious questions are placed in front of us by DVG in this section. The next topic taken up is Samasyage Yalli Purana, or where is the end to our struggles? We may ask if you can give a few examples here. Yes, in this topic he discusses about the relationship between Brahman and creation. Are the two really connected or not? He explores questions on the puzzle of life and what may be the goal of this creation. Is this creation true or just an illusion? Is this a game or a dream of the Creator? Why is the truth being masked by God? Is our life just a set of problems? Where is the solution? These kind of thought-provoking questions are placed in front of us by Sri Gundappa in this section. The next topic taken up is Brahmavastu Usaravalliye, or Brahman and Chameleon. In this topic, he discusses about the nature of God and why he may have kept himself and the purpose of this creation a secret. Whether it's God's will to let man suffer in trying to find the secrets of this creation. Why doesn't God show himself? He poetically asks, like a chameleon changing its color every second, is Brahman like that? By spreading attachments and illusions everywhere, is it fair for destiny to declare that we did not pass the test? If Brahman is present in all life forms, why do his forms change? Why doesn't he appear in his entirety? These kind of fascinating questions are placed in front of us by DVG in this section. Oh, so many questions. We may ask, how many topics and kaggas have we covered so far? Yes, we have now covered 7 topics and around 34 kaggas containing several questions in brief. The next topic taken up is Vidyulla Hariye, or God, an electric force. This is one of my favorite topics. In this topic, he makes an excellent comparison of God with electricity and asks, is God like an electrifying force that moves everything in this universe? He also tries to question some of the false notions that we have simply accepted without questioning. He explores questions like, why doesn't God give a clue about himself? He poetically asks if God can himself give us the keys to unlock the truth, possibly a reference to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. At which time does God actually appear? Here he questions the false notion of auspicious and inauspicious times to connect with God. He then questions which is better, scholarly arguments versus genuine teachings about realizing the truth. Such kind of captivating questions are placed in front of us by DVG in this section. The next topic taken up is Bankudipave Tante, or is false or limited knowledge our refuge? In this topic, he discusses about the limitations of our senses and about how little we know about this creation. It is mostly our theories or educated guesses. How easily are our senses deceived, and how easily we believe our version of the limited truth? Will people respect something that we can easily get? Only when something is hidden and hard to find does it arouse our interest and curiosity. For example, like a treasure hunt game with very limited clues. What is the use of lamenting about our limited vision and other senses, or if there is no sufficient light to see? What can we do best about this situation? In the form of a question, he then presents a wonderful idea and a possible solution. Can we add up all of our limited truths and hope that the collective wisdom will help us to see the complete truth? Such kind of excellent questions are placed in front of us by DVG in this section. The next topic taken up is Hrudayaruchi Chodya, or amazing play of the heart. In this topic, he compares the value of knowledge from our own experiences and the bookish knowledge of scholars who quote from the scriptures. He also touches upon some Vedantic truths by asking, from where does this world get its beauty and qualities? Is it from our mind only? Or, in other words, does this world exist only in our mind, as we see it? For example, questions like, from where does the grass get its green? Why does the sky look beautiful to our mind at one time and does not appear so at another time? DVG also covers questions like necessity of developing a heart along with the logical mind. Or, as per today's times, should we develop our emotional quotient or EQ as much as our intelligence quotient or IQ? Whether we need to listen to the inner voice of our heart that guides us. These kind of extraordinary questions are placed in front of us by DVG in this section. Wow! May we ask how many topics and kaggas have we covered so far? We have now covered 10 topics and around 50 kaggas with several questions in each topic in brief. These questions are not meant to spread discontent or disappointment, nor does DVG ask these questions to us because he doesn't know the answers himself. The only purpose of these questions is to stimulate our thinking about higher things in life. DVG himself provides the answers to most of these questions later in the Kaggas. For those people who are in satsang, such questions will keep coming again and again. Till we get answers to these questions, we will not get peace of mind. Somewhere in the corner of our mind, these questions will remain. We may ask, for each person, will the answers to these questions be the same? No. What is strange here is that for each person, the same question will bring different answers at different times according to his or her evolution. In the following videos, let us start our journey to explore these excellent questions in more detail. Let us bow to Bhagavan and DVG to bless us to expand our minds and hearts. Let them lift us from a very limited vision to an expansive and a higher vision of this world and try to understand the working of its creator. Om Tat Sat.